Hey everyone, and welcome to this edition of Listen Up Livingston. It is a kind of a little side show to Local Leaders, a podcast, which you're normally used to listening to. But we like to do Listen Up Livingston every now and then just to get our political leaders and our aspiring political leaders on the show and talk a little bit about what makes them tick, who they are, and why they're doing what they're doing. And today we have someone you've probably seen his signs. I don't know if you've seen him yet, but you've definitely seen his signs out there. That's Mr. Adam Cutrer. So first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for having me.
Man, I'm fired up. We talked a little bit off camera and enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about you. And look, we love our business guys around here and gals in Livingston Parish, and of which you are one. You're part of the Chamber of Commerce.
We are active.
Awesome. And so before we get anything else, let's talk about where did you grow up at?
So I'm a Watson boy.
Yeah.
Live Oak High, class of 99. So any of you Eagles fans out there, go Eagles. You got to get that in there.
There you go. There you go. We like the Eagles when they're not playing Denham.
There you go.
So grew up out that way, and somehow you ended up on this side of the parish. How did that happen?
Well, I joined the Navy.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I was kind of in the middle. Right, I was kind of in between Watson and Denham.
Yeah.
And then I met my wife, and she was a South Side girl.
Yeah.
So I said, "Hey, got to pack up."
That's it. I know that feeling.
Yeah, you do a little bit.
I
we
do.
Talked about that.
That's right. So you ended up here on the south side of the parish. And before we get into that, you mentioned that you were in the military. So first of all, thank you for your service. Navy guy. How long were you in the Navy?
I was in the Navy 6 years, and it's funny, a lot of people tell me, thank you for your service, but look, the Navy and the military did way more for me than I ever did for it. A lot of the leadership and just actions of being a man and being a solid individual, was learned in that organization.
That's a great point. And, any military service that you do, it'll grow you up.
I highly recommend it.
And teach you how to be a leader. And that's a huge aspect in what you're going to be doing, aspiring to do here with the parish. And we'll get into all that. But after you leave the military, how long were you in?
6 years.
6 years. Okay. Very good. And you got married after that?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Moved to the south side of the parish, and you're starting a life, and you have this business, and this business you have is very successful. LA Pro, you do construction cleanup primarily?
We do construction debris removal.
Yeah.
We do stormwater stuff like silt fences and hay wattles, and we're a construction services company, so we do a lot of things along with construction besides actually using the hammer and nails.
Yep.
So we're very proud of the stormwater stuff. It's got a lot to do with keeping the debris and the dirt out of our drainage ditches and things like that. So it's passionate to me. We like it.
Yeah, very good. And what got you into that field, just out of curiosity?
I moved back. I was going to school in the GI Bill, and I got my associate's degree from Baton Rouge Community College, and I was kind of working. I owned a flooring company where we stripped and waxed floors, and then we had a daiquiri shop in Ponchatoula. We were just doing kind of several things, and a local builder said, do you want to do the construction cleanup on my sister's house? And I said, Sure. What is that? I did the first probably 6 to 8 houses on my own, no trailer and a wheelbarrow, and I just did it to stay in shape. I already had businesses making money.
Sure.
And then after about 8 to 10 houses, I said, okay, well, this is profitable.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears. Let's sell this. Let's move that. Let's give this away. Let's do this. And then that's kind of how that started.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Right.
That's awesome. And it has grown now to where you have a bunch of employees and with that, a bunch of responsibilities. And we were talking off camera about how important, it is to kind of get your feet out from under you and really get a system in place. And I would think that what, you're aspiring to do with your parish council runs very similar. You want to get a system in place and it blows my mind, folks, that us as business owners, that is true public service because it requires a lot of time.
Yes.
I think every parish council member that's on that council right now would say that, in order to do the job to the required, I guess, give it its just due, you really need to dedicate time to it. And so it's got to be a labor of love for you, first of all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, the passion to help our community came with the 2016 flood. So,
Yes.
we all know that affected every single person here, whether
Absolutely.
you flooded or not. So, my current home that I live in now flooded, but it was under construction.
Yeah.
So, we were the home, our home we lived in did not. So, we were the home with 15 people and 5 cats and
Yes.
6 dogs and the iguana and the parakeet, and, cooking up all the deer meat and everything like that. And we're 3 or 4, maybe 5 days into that, and I had a big diesel truck, and we're running around saving people, doing what we can do and all that. And there was just a moment there on Hammock Road that changed me forever, and I won't get too deep into that, but that was the moment where I saw this community, just who had lost everything, doing everything they could to help their neighbors,
Amen.
help their friends, their family, help people they had never met before and people they were never going to meet again. So that was kind of where I went from just being a businessman in a community to, wow, let's really help people.
I love that,
so
man.
That's where it started.
It's funny because my story is very similar, and when it comes to the flood, and we'll take just a second on that because I think that affected you, and it affected me deeply, relative to really looking back on my life and seeing what I was doing to help other people. I paid taxes, I went to church, I gave to my church, all those sorts of things. But outside of that, if I was being honest, I wasn't doing a whole lot. I was wrapped up in my own life, right? Like we all get. I will never forget that there's a whole thing with me in that flood and my family. We were one of the many thousands of people that were on Highway 16, just stuck there. And I had 3 kids and a wife and me, and our house is under 6 feet of water and everything's gone. And eventually, long story short, 3rd day into that, I said, we got to get out of here. And I took really a crazy chance, and I tried to go down, or I did go down Jubin, which was under a ton of water at that time. But I'll never forget this. As we're driving down Jubin, and the water's licking up the doors of my truck, and my wife starts crying. And I looked over, and I'm thinking she's crying because she's scared I'm going to swamp us, right? So I'm white-knuckled on that steering wheel. I look over, and I said, hey, I got this. You ain't got to worry. I got this. And she hits me in the shoulder, and she says, no, fool. She says, that's our people. Look at this. And I looked to my right, and it was nothing but boats launching everywhere you looked. And I get teary-eyed to this day because I felt myself change at that point. And I said, you know what? This ain't about me. It's about us. It's about all of us as a community. And it was crazy, man. It was like I felt that change come over me, and my wife was just bawling, and she couldn't believe what she was seeing. She said, those are regular people. Those aren't police. Those aren't firemen. Those are regular people. And they're out there, and they've lost everything, and they're doing nothing but saving everybody else. And I'll tell you what, I don't know of another parish in the world or city in the world that could have got through it like we did. And maybe I'm biased, but it was a crazy, beautiful thing. And as horrible as that situation was, I think that it made me a better person.
I can see it in your eye.
Yeah.
And so I will briefly give you mine. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're launching boats on Hammock Road. This is the end. The water's coming down, and people are trying to get boats in so they can go down to French Settlement and Port Vincent because the water's still high there.
Yeah.
And a gentleman came up with a beautiful bass boat, fiberglass boat, and it's got the twin power poles and the big motor. It's a nice boat, and probably $100,000 bass boat back then.
Right.
And a guy comes by in a bateau. He's putting along on Hammock Road, and so they talk, and the guy on the bateau told the bass boat guy, he said, don't do it. He said, I've got 3 holes in my bottom of my boat. I'm bailing water. I'm hitting mailboxes and cars. And the guy on the bass boat looked at his buddy. He said, "Put the boat in the water." You know what I mean?
A beautiful thing.
I was just like, dude, yes, you know. And so he did. He tore his boat up, but he wouldn't save people. So that was my moment. You know? And they tell me not to talk about it sometimes.
Yeah.
It was a moment that it just came over you like, that is somebody who doesn't care about anything. The bass boat's probably the only thing he had left.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful story and important to your story because as you just said it kind of changed you that day and maybe made you look at what can I do to give more of myself because as I said earlier, business owners, the last thing we need is another thing to do, especially when you have a successful business that is just running and like a top as my mom would say, and your business is running like a top right now, very successful. So the opportunity comes, and for those that may not be familiar with this situation, Mr. Bubba Harris, who long serving community leader, had some health issues and stuff and had to end his term a little early, and he appointed someone to take his place. And because that was an appointment, at some point a special election has to take place. And so you entered that special election. And I guess the first question and the most obvious would be, you've got this successful business, you've got all these things going. Why do it?
Well, me and Bubba actually spoke about this 3 years ago. He put a little bug in my ear, and he just, he just mentioned that he wasn't going to run again, and I should think about it. And so I kind of already had it in my ear. And man, just with this economy and the situation we're in, new leadership at the parish president level. I think you and I talked about as little as 4 returning councilmen.
Yeah.
I just think we need some strong leadership, some business-minded candidates that have proven themselves in the trenches of business, making some tough decisions. And not everything's a win in a business deal. I mean, rarely is it like the movies where you walk out and you high-five your business partner and you just go,
ain't happened to me yet.
Right, right. It's an inch. It's a grind at a time, and there's only so much a councilman can do. So I don't want to promise I can change the world, but yeah, that's it. I think we need business-minded candidates who are used to making big-time decisions. And
one thing you're definitely going to get out of a business-minded candidate is you're going to get someone that's used to working with other people.
Correct.
And you have to, look at it from a federal perspective. If you've got a president that's a Republican and you've got a Senate and a House that are Democratic, it's going to be real hard to get anything done because nothing gets done without them passing it, and nothing gets signed without the president signing it. So it becomes a lot of gridlock. Well, when you have people that know how to work together for the common good, now you want to work together for what's in the best interest of whatever district you represent first. But usually you can find some common ground with everybody if you look for it. And I think everybody's goal at the end of the day, if they're a councilman worth their salt, would be for whatever is best for the parish as a whole. And so I think that business owners are used to kind of working together with people. You got employees, right? You got the public in some cases with business owners, and you've got other business people that, you're pitching whatever product you sell to. And so working together is a big part of that. And it also causes everything to move at a faster clip, which is important. It's if there's any complaint over the years with the council, it's been the slowness of everything, it seems like. And so hopefully we can see some changes there. Now, there are some issues in the parish that are common. One of them, there's no councilman and nobody running for heck, there's nobody running for any dog catcher in this parish that wouldn't tell you that on everybody's agenda is, infrastructure. Traffic is awful at certain parts of the parish. Some of that totally out of the parish's control, y'all. It's right. DOTD And I'll tell you that traffic getting off the interstate and getting on at range is not, I hate to shock y'all, that's not a problem of the parish. That is DOTD that controls that. And they're not the fastest working people in the world. There's a lot of red tape with them. But there, that's one thing, even from a street level perspective, that people have an issue with, the infrastructure. The number one thing is what you just talked about, the floods and everything that comes along with that, including construction and building and all of that. Those are issues that are important and things you're going to have to tackle. Heck, they've got an issue now with the library and books. Who saw that one coming?
Right.
So there's a lot of things on the agenda and on the horizon. Have you given a lot of thought to some things that you would like to see or that you think would help move things along relative to like infrastructure and, the flooding issues we have and all that?
Yeah, look, what we can do is, as a council and as a parish, give our representatives all the support that they need in the world to get the funding for infrastructure. The council doesn't have a whole lot to do with it.
Yeah.
What we can do is act on what I call better building ordinances. We can write some better laws. We can slow development down, give DOTD a chance to catch up.
Yeah.
Right. So they want to put an interchange at 4-H Club Road. I don't know how many people know about that, but they do. But it's going to take them some time. Right.
Sure.
So what can you do to incentivize businesses to turn 15-year projects into 20, 25-year projects? What can you do? And then that's kind of where my line of thinking is. I really think it's a bad idea for the economy just to stop all business.
Sure.
Well,
you can't get anything done with no tax dollars.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But there is a fine line, and it's very, very small fine line. But
Yeah.
You got to find it. You got to find it, work together, communicate, and compromise, and get what's best for the parish done.
That's right. That's right. And it's a fine line, and it's something that, look, when you live here, no matter who you are, you definitely, you want to say, okay, that's enough. We don't want anybody else coming in, and because you live here, and your east side of the parish, for example, we'll take that. There is a lot of issues with just infrastructure there, the roads and things. And a lot of that is tied into the fact that it's not a highly populated area. They don't have a whole lot of business out there. All the businesses, Walker, Denham Springs, and on that side of the parish. So the problem becomes they have these roads that need attention, but they don't have the businesses there to support the tax dollars that they need to fund it. And those are issues that, as a council, you try to find a way to help with that, but it's a balance, because then you're taking money away from people on the other side of the parish that are paying into it, and they're like, wait a minute now, we paid for that, why are you getting that money? So that's where a business owner, to me, comes into play.
I'm glad you brought up the east side of the parish. We've got to plan some infrastructure out there and get the ball rolling. Look, our budgets here in this parish are controlled by construction and retail. And look, I love retail, but besides Bass Pro, which is a completely different animal, retail is just all of us exchanging money for goods and services, and then the government's going to take 33% of it, right?
Yes.
So really, big picture wise, we really, and we got to be smart with this on who we recruit. But I'm active in the Livingston Economic Development Council, right? And so our goal is, and our vision is, economic drivers, right? Companies who bring in a material, they make a product, they ship that product out, money stays home. So now all of a sudden, everybody in the parish, our socioeconomic level is raising, and that's a long-term process. That isn't something that a vote for me or a vote for somebody else is going to do immediately, but that is something, we all have to be on board with. We have to start. That's where all the land is. Yeah. So we're the 7th fastest growing parish in the state for a reason, right?
Yeah, that's right.
We've got great schools, crime and traffic in our 2 major cities around us, probably not going to get much better immediately. And look, it's a great place to live. It's a good community. So what do? You have to, it's the duty of your elected officials to give that plan. and at least give the spot and the plan of growth. And that's what we'd like to do.
I think that's very well put and absolutely accurate. It's nothing that is an overnight fix, and
not at all.
And it's also nothing that is just a plague to this parish. I mean, most parishes you go to now, they outside of your little bitty small towns have traffic issues. Go to Baton Rouge and our neighbor who has plenty of tax dollars. They have nothing but problems out there, not only with crime, but with traffic. So none of this stuff can certainly be fixed overnight. Of course, they have a big extension that's going on right now. I'm sure you've seen the construction going on, with the Cook Road, extension, and that's going to help a little bit. But by the time that's done, we'll have somewhere else that we need to, I'm sure, extend. Okay, I'm going to give you kind of a hypothetical here. You win, and you won this special election. So you move on, and they have another election coming up in November. Do you then have to run again?
I do.
Really?
Yeah, yes. Well, this is a special election. This is what you got to do. So if you want the job, you got to work for it. Right?
Wow.
So, yeah.
How about that? I didn't expect that because I wasn't sure on that answer.
You've got to run now. Whoever wins now, it's open competition season again.
Yeah.
In the fall.
So don't throw away the election signs.
No, we'll clean those off. We always talk about doing more with less, right? So we'll clean those off. We'll stack them up, and then we'll put them back out. Yeah.
And how is with any election you run, obviously there's expenses, right? And sadly, a lot of times they're more than maybe you even planned on spending. I know you have mentioned you have come out of pocket pretty good out of your own money, and which to me shows your dedication. You're not sitting back saying everybody's going to give me money or I'm not running, and that sort of thing. But this election's been a little more than maybe you planned on spending. Even I saw you had posted the other day on Facebook.
Sure. We were told this would be a $12,000 to $15,000 election. I said, sure, no problem. I got that. I think right now, on my finance reports, by the time it's over with, I'll probably be 18, 19 deep in it.
Yeah.
I know I'm over 17 now,
Yeah.
And that's all it really should have been. But look, outside influences get involved. It's part of politics. It just is what it is. It's no one's fault here nor of another.
Yeah.
But we're very proud of the fact that, I am the single largest contributor to my campaign.
Yeah. Very good. That shows.
Right.
Yeah, it really is. And look, it's hard to go out there and ask other people to. I hate asking people for money. I'm going to be honest with you. As far as running for office, that to me is the worst part of it. Yeah. You don't want to ask anybody. I can do all this for you. Now write me a check for $20. You just don't want to do it. And people are happy to do it a lot of times. They understand that this stuff ain't cheap. Mailers, good grief, to mailers,
$3,000 to $5,000 a piece.
Yeah, signs. They're not bad if you only need 2 of them, but when you need 2,000 or whatever it is, 200, it's insane.
Thank God we're in a small geographical area district.
Yes,
it'd have been just more signs and more work and more everything else.
Yeah, you get those state representative levels and Senate levels. They're covering a lot of territory, right? That's a ton of signs. Of signs. So, I want to read, I pulled this off of your website and I thought it was pretty good. So I want to read this word for word. And it says, meet Adam Cutrer. Adam Cutrer is a native of Watson, an alumnus of Live Oak High School and Baton Rouge Community College. He is a United States Navy veteran serving from 2004 to 2009, 2 deployments in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom, is a licensed FAA air traffic controller, meaning he can handle pressure, y'all. That's what that means. That's what that tells me. Holds a final radar approach control certification, is founding partner and CEO of LA Pro and Safeguard Maintenance. He is also the managing partner and CFO of Valence Surveillance and Security. These businesses are based in District 5, that's big, and utilize local men and women bringing jobs into our community. He currently resides in Denham Springs with his wife, Heather Cutrer, your better half.
All day.
Oh, that's it. We all married up, man. That's what I tell people all the time. They are both proud members and supporters of the Denham Springs community. You certainly are, and something in there, and I'm glad I read that because it said your business and your home is in District 5.
Yes.
It's a big deal. I mean, you're contributing a lot to your district, and now you're going to be contributing even more because of public service.
Yep.
So, wow, man, that's impressive stuff. Tell me about Valen. What is Valen?
Well, so Valen Surveillance and Security. I'm the managing partner and CFO of that. That's my business partner's dream child. Valen's very cool. So anytime I get a chance to talk about it, you'll see me smile.
Love it.
So basically, we specialize in security with, maybe it's not artificial intelligence, but it's definitely electronics, right?
Yeah.
So perimeter radar, thermal cameras, body scanners, packet scanners.
Cool.
We have a perimeter. We have a thermal perimeter around 7 or 8 state facilities.
Yeah.
And it's growing all the time. We can lock down, a mile of a levee with a radar the size of an iPad and send alerts to Homeland Security. It's very cool stuff.
Love it.
So, I was very proud. You were talking about District 5 and the businesses being based. Safeguard maintenance in 2022, we did detention facility, prison work in 3 or 4 states. And the proudest job we did with any business last year was Safeguard. So we went to Limestone County Detention Center in Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
We sent men and women there from District 5. We ripped out 50 prison doors. We used a Denham Springs man, a District 5 man, to hot shot it back to my facility. We retrofitted 50 doors for new open and closing systems, hot shotted them back, sent the people back over there to Texas, reinstalled them. So it was several months of there, and that was probably our largest accomplishment of any business combined last year.
That's really cool, man. Yeah. And
look,
love
prison,
LP.
Prison work is cool too. It's different. We talked about some of our learning abilities.
Oh, yeah.
ADD and things like that. Prison work's different every day. Now, look, 2023, we're going to shift gears a little bit more to like commercial and industrial maintenance and things like that. But we learned a lot last year in all 3 businesses.
Yeah, I bet. And it sounds like your mind just keeps on going. It's that hamster wheel.
I'll never stop.
Yeah.
You just can't. If I sit still, I just,
Look, I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, I still can't find the off switch.
Yeah.
If I'm doing good, if we're watching Netflix or something at home, I've got to be doing something while I'm watching it. Right. And she, thank God, after 25 years, totally gets me and all of that. So she just lets me do. But it took a lot of years of saying, I don't have that off switch, man. I can't just sit here and watch. I don't know. It's just something
I'm just
with
used
us.
to doing two or three things at a time.
Yeah. And I admire people that can just turn that off. I just can't do it, Adam. I can't do it. But you have a beautiful family here. Also on your website, had a picture of your beautiful family. You got a man in uniform on there. Tell me about him.
So that's our oldest stepson, Matthew.
Yeah.
And Matthew Alder, just a great kid. Both boys, Denham Springs High graduates, both spent 4 years in the band. And
really, that's cool.
And look, when he graduated, and some of you parents can laugh at this as well. When he graduated, I said, "What are all these D's on here?" He said, "Stepdaddy, the D stands for diploma." I said, "Yes, sir, you're right. Glad you got it." So he was just one of those kids, good kid, just wasn't very active in the classroom. It was tough for him. And look, he hit the Coast Guard trajectory straight up. I mean, he actually. I don't know if you saw recently, we donated 20.
I did. I was going to talk about that. Yes.
So that's actually his brainchild. So he gets it honest from his mom. So he is part of the Coast Guard Tactical Law Enforcement Association, and I'm sorry guys if I got that wrong. It's a lot of verbiage, but he said, look, we have all these body armors. They're laying around here. They still have some lifespan left on them.
Yeah.
Why don't we get with Joe Shoemate in the marshal's office?
Yeah.
Why don't we get with some
Mr. Joe?
So we donated 20, and I think Denham Springs, the police department, and Marshall's office is going to split those up however they need them. You know?
Yeah.
But that was his idea. So it was his brainchild. All I did was make some phone calls, and if you could just save one cop's life, you know.
It's worth it.
Our law enforcement officers, they're up against the wall every day. So if you could just help one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Mm-hmm. And then you got a strapping youngster sitting on this side of you, and he's taller than you are. Tell me about him.
They both are. They both are. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I was going to not say both, but.
So, that's Jacob.
Yep.
Very proud of that young man. He works in a world-class restaurant, probably the best restaurant in Houston. He's 21, just bought his first house in Houston. He's avid and he's adamant about wine and arts and things like that. That's his course. Cultured, yeah. So he's living the dream in Houston, you know.
Very good, living his best life.
He is definitely living his best life. 21 years old with a house and just making some decent money for his age. He's a happy young man. Love it.
And you're holding a pretty lady's hand there. And tell me about that lady.
Man, she's so much to me. She is she's the calm.
Yeah.
That is to our brainstorm.
Yeah.
So. I was here going to school in the GI Bill.
Yeah.
My GI Bill was 36 straight months. So I had summer classes. You had a Christmas class for that week. I mean, you just had to pack in as much college as possible. And I had gotten my degree from Baton Rouge Community College. I was just started my first semester of LSU, and I met her.
Yeah.
And so if you know anything about government work, the FAA would have just shipped me off like I was in the military again.
Right.
So you tell them you have a final radar control, certification. They say, okay, well, you go to Oklahoma or you go here.
Right.
And so she's the reason I'm still here. She's the reason that I'm an entrepreneur and a business owner, because I really just had to turn around and look and say, hey, what can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do to stay here and be with this family?
I love that, man.
Their father has passed away, so I'm all those boys got.
Yeah.
They're all I've got.
Yeah.
And so
I love that,
very
man.
blessed. Very blessed.
Love it. And how long y'all been married?
Been together 10 years, married 7.
Yeah, very good. So you made it past the point. She ain't going to leave you if she ain't left you now.
Yeah, well, let's hope.
If she can make it through this election, she ain't going to leave you.
But just look, when I tell you that woman is smart and she's just really just all around, biggest heart you ever find. Good woman.
Look, I'll tell you what, man, and a big deal, and us as especially. It's hard to be married, especially men in business, because we're just goofy and so driven, and our wives really save our lives in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. Look, I walk in the house and I need this and I need that, and I'm sure you've got a million things going on. You need this and you need that, and just it takes a good strong core family to kind of.
Amen. A good, strong LP woman.
That's it.
No doubt about it. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on. We've been going 40 minutes almost,
really?
and it sure don't seem like it. But any closing thoughts? Any last things? This is probably going to air about 3 or 4 days before voting day. So. Voting day, by the way, is this Saturday.
It is this coming Saturday, March 25th.
5th, yeah.
It is important an election. The smaller an election is, the more important it is, right? It means less people are going to vote, and your vote actually counts for more.
That's right. Great way to put that.
No, look, just look into the issues, look at the candidates, see, what's most important to you. Just get out there and vote. And I'm just here for a choice for change. If I win, I will communicate and compromise and work with our elected officials and other organizations and try to just make really good decisions for us. And if I lose, look, that's okay. I mean, that's fine. I'll go back to work and I'll still help this community any way I can. Yeah. And speaking of that, I want to put a plug in for a couple organizations.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. I Keep Livingston Beautiful. I'm a board member on that. Next event there is Love the Boot Week.
Love the Boot.
April 22nd, we're going to have a litter event. There's going to be several. So several board members are going to have events in Watson and different cities. Yeah. I'm doing Denham Springs. We may have a free vaccine event there too. So we're not necessarily thinking COVID. We'll have that, but it's more flu, whooping cough, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
VFW, our state commander homecoming is March 24th. And Carl Carnouche.
Yes.
You know Carl?
Oh, I know him well.
Awesome cat. So
yeah, very awesome.
So Commander Carl is he's up for state commander. So we're hoping
we're
pushing
all right.
him for that.
Carl. Look, I'll tell you a quick story about him is of course he's all over with the little fairs and stuff that they do, and he's promoting the VFW. Yes. But Mr. Carl, he's been telling me he's been wanting to come on Local Leaders forever, and I've been like, I'm gonna get you on.
Yeah.
So hold me to it, Mr. Carl. Come by here one day when you see that big yellow Hummer and just come knock on my door, because you know I'm horrible at getting back to calls. But I'd love to have you on. Yeah, he really is.
He's done some good things. You know, this VFW post 7017 here, it was, you know, when he stepped into it, was not growing. It was not thriving. He is growing membership, which allows that organization to do better things. I'm a member of that, and I hope to help him as well.
Very good.
Kiwanis, our next thing is the mathlete competition. That's March 30th.
I'm not a mathlete. I don't know about you.
I'm going to probably help sponsor this. You will not. I will not have a team. I will not be doing math. What is the math? I'll do my calculator.
Right. Is that the Denham Springs or the Walker Kiwanis?
That's Denham Springs.
Okay,
that's
very
Denham
good.
Springs. And then the Livingston Economic Development Council, great organization.
Yes.
Our next launch is June 15th. So if anybody wants to go to lunch and just stick your toes in the water and kind of dabble and feel how that is, message me, call me, email. You can have a seat at my table and just see if it's right for you.
All of those very important organizations. I may check out that LEDC meeting.
Come to lunch with
next
us.
time. Yeah, man, that sounds like good fun. And also, as you mentioned, you're a member of the chamber, very active in the chamber.
Look,
another
the chamber,
huge business organization.
You'll see me. You see me hashtag Thanks Chamber a lot on Facebook. April, that whole team over there is Lauren and Christine. They're just fantastic. A lot of hard work from those folks. They do some great events. And we probably wouldn't be here today without them. So
amen.
Hashtag Thanks Chamber.
Amen. And April wears a force of nature. There's no doubt about it. That's how I describe her, and I mean that with love. She's a force.
Well, you got to keep everybody on track when you have all these strong-minded business people in one room.
Oh, yeah. So she's good at that.
Yeah, she is. She does a good job.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for coming on. I wish you the absolute best of luck. We're going to get this out and get it out into the community so people can make an educated decision and kind of know who these candidates are. And you were nice enough to come on the show, and I appreciate that. So good luck to you, and to everybody else, thank you for liking, subscribing, following. Y'all, we are up to almost 14,000 on YouTube on our subscribership. We're getting over 20,000 downloads a week of our podcast, so I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. Most of that from the Livingston Parish and Baton Rouge community. Thank you so much. Much love and all that. And until next time, love your community, folks. Support local business and keep leading. Thank you very much.